in down on our backs. So just find yourself with a long spine laying down on the floor. If you guys haven't met me before, by the way, my name is Brittany. If you're just tuning in, we're going to be doing a flexibility yoga class today. And just lengthen your spine. Feel the lumbar lengthen. You may even wish to grab the back of your neck and maybe inspire your neck a little bit longer, chin towards chest just a little bit more. And then resettle the shoulders, the arms down to the sides. Start to gently shift in your knees if that feels good, or perhaps stay completely still. We'll be going through an all levels flow today, which means I'll give options and variations for anywhere from beginner level to our more intermediate advanced yogis. And here I want you to really relax your hips if you're shifting with me. Let your feet shift on the floor, keeping them where they are, but allowing the edges to transfer weight. Good. Take a deep breath in, arms reach up overhead. And as you exhale, press your palms together and find a prayer pose, palms in front of heart center. Let us set our intention for today on creating space in our mind, creating space in our muscles, creating space with our breath. Take a moment to really set this intention into place. Let it marinate around in your mind, in your body. And start to take a few deep breaths in through the nose, maybe out the mouth. 4 more, inhale. Release, exhale. Clearing those spaces out of any stale energy. Inhale. Really fill your lower belly. Exhale, press all the air out. 2 more. Inhale, fill from collarbones to tailbone. Exhale, draw the belly button towards the floor. Last one, inhale. Exhale out the nose. If you have an Ujjayi practice, we can activate this now. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, scoop the knees up, curl the shoulders up. Option to keep the shoulders on the ground if you'd like. Hug the knees in really tight. Feel your tailbone lift up just a little bit. And then on your next exhale, lower the shoulders and grip your hands over your kneecaps, fingers facing forward. We're gonna just loosen up our hips a little bit more. So allow your weight to transfer into the hands and allow the legs to relax. And then maybe you start to create small circles going in opposite directions. And once again, try not to control the movement with your legs. Try to control the movement with your arms the best you can. And let's change direction, opposite way. Opening the groin, opening the inner thighs, nice and gentle. Breathing. If you're feeling a little bit warm today, it's a pretty warm day here in Fresno and Clovis. If you want to breathe out the mouth, do it as much as you need to. Otherwise, we're using our Ujjayi, that oceanic sounding breath. Good. Now take your left foot down to the floor, take your right foot up high. If you're feeling really tight and your leg is really far away from your face, that's where a strap or a belt can help. However, if you're able to stack that foot over the hip, hold it high. Now bring your hands down to the floor and start to create small circles with the heel as if you're drawing with a marker on the ceiling. So you can keep this leg bent. Also, you can choose to extend the leg long, make it a little bit more activating. And we're just gonna do 5 more deep breaths for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go 10 the other way. 8, 7. Keep your own breath pace, whatever that might be. It does not have to flow exactly with your movement. After you finish your last one, really kick through that heel. Now, curl upwards and interlace your fingers behind the thigh, the knee, or the calf, and then take the leg down with you. If you need to soften in your knee, that's okay, but keep sending energy out through that heel and roll your ankles out. Maybe both ankles, maybe just one. I really want you to feel into your body, be guided by your own intuition, and as we challenge ourselves to create space in our body, our mind, our breath, you need to honor your body. If something is too painful or too deep, listen to that and back off. Good. Let's bring our knees back into our chest, curling the shoulders up. Option to keep the shoulders down. Let the tailbone lift. The lower abdominals are curling. Tailbone is tucking. Good. And then we're going to come down with the right leg, up with the left. Palms are down. Flex that ankle. Reach, reach, reach. Reach through the heel. You can grab a strap, like I said, if your leg is really far away from the face. And we're going to create small, small circles. This is a mobility movement that helps lubricate the hip sockets. So because of what we're headed into today, I'm starting nice and gentle, and we're going to gradually build it up as we go. Breathing, creating space. Let's do 5 more for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's change direction. Once again, you have the option to straighten that other leg to get a little bit more of an active challenge. Flex the ankles, ground down into the floor for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Keep the leg there. Try to really kick out through that heel. Curl your shoulder blades up. Nice crunch in the core. Interlace behind thigh, knee, or calf. Take the leg back down with you. It's okay to bend and straighten. Let's roll our ankles out while we hold this stretch. If you're noticing that your shoulders are wanting to peel off the floor, see if you can spread your collarbones wide in the front of your chest and try to ground down through the 4 corners of your back. We'll just hold here for a few more breaths. Like I said, back off if you need to. I'm gonna see what you guys are commenting, if anything. Hello. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, let's hold for one more breath here. Good. Now come back into this tuck. Use your exhale to really curl tightly closed. And let's rock ourselves forward and backwards, getting a little massage on our spine. Breathing deeply. Let's do this one more time, being gentle, rolling on the spine. Now, if you're wanting to roll over the legs, if your knees and ankles are healthy, you can crisscross your ankles and roll over the knuckles. Otherwise, you can sweep both feet to one side. Come on to all fours. So plant your wrists under your shoulders, hips over knees. If your wrists are sensitive, walk them out just a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Let's open our heart, drop our belly, lift our tail, look forward and up. And exhale, press the earth away. Lift your belly button, curl the tail under, chin to chest. Inhale, cow pose, open heart, extend through the spine. Exhale, open the back of your heart as you press the earth away. Let's bring the feet into this. Inhale, tuck the toes under as you gaze forward and up, long neck. Exhale, press the tops of the feet down as you gaze between the thighs. Inhale, soft elbows, open heart. Exhale, press, press, press. Let's do one more. Inhale, really create space in the front of your heart. Exhale, create as much space in the back of your heart as you can. Good. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Find your first downward facing dog. Spread your sit bones, lift your tail, reach your heels down, and let's pedal through our feet like we're riding a bicycle. If you notice that your shoulders are forward and you're not finding this straight line from wrists to tail, try to gently press your heart and your armpits back towards your shins and thighs. Make sure your feet aren't too close together, hip distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider, and really spread your fingertips here. We're gonna hold for one more breath. On your next inhale, come up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look at your hands, take 2 large steps to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, look forward. If you're pretty mobile in your hamstrings, feeling flexy, hands on ground. Otherwise, we can bring our hands up to our shins. Hold here for a moment. So something as simple as a halfway lift can really help us get into these hamstrings. So try to flatten your back as much as you can. So instead of rounding, trying to stick your tailbone out, engage your shoulder blades together, soften your knees a tiny bit, and now shift your weight into your toes. You might feel that the heels are light, and you should feel a greater stretch in those hamstrings. Let's take one more inhale here. As you exhale, let the weight of your upper body melt down into a forward fold. Drop the head. Inhale, roll up like a rag doll, salute the arms overhead. We're gonna come into some sun salutations. So find your mountain pose at the top of your mat, making sure that you have room behind you. Now I'm gonna do a modified version of sun salutations that brings us in and out of low lunge. And if you find that it's difficult for you to step your foot forward from downward facing dog into low lunge, and you have blocks, books, or a chair, then grab hold of that, because it can make this transition a little bit more accessible for our tighter yogis. I like to start with my big toes together, heels slightly apart. You can also be parallel. Engage the core, lifting in and up. Shoulders roll down and back. Proud chest, tall posture. Inhale, arms salute overhead. Maybe a little sway of the back. Exhale, fold and half forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, look forward. Exhale, step the right foot really far back and gently lower the knee. Option to place a blanket underneath. Inhale, coming up with the arms parallel, palms facing in. Take a second here to level your hips. And even though my hips are sinking forward, I'm trying to pull up with my core and to reach down with my tail. 3 flows through cactus arms. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, reach your palms and elbows towards the wall behind you. Flex your shoulder blades together and trace a circle down and forward. Inhale, repeat up. Repeat, open chest, a little back arch, elbows down and through. One more time. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, elbows come down and around. Plant your hands, tuck your right toes, lift the knee, step into plank. As you inhale, look forward, lean forward. Option to drop your knees. Let's come all the way down. Inhale, show me low cobra. Long neck, no wrinkles in the back of the neck. Exhale, maybe you roll through your knees or straight plank to down dog. First round, we hold 5 breaths in each main pose. So just breathe, get cozy, try to straighten your back. It's more important that your back is straight than it is that your knees are straight. So if your legs are straight and you're experiencing something like this, try to give them a nice little bend and work on that line of energy in your spine. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Maybe shaking your head no, plugging the shoulders into the torso. Make sure you're not squeezing the neck. Last exhale. Leading with the right leg. This is the part that if you want to bring your hands onto blocks, this can be helpful. We're coming through 3-legged dog to low lunge. Inhale, right leg floats up. Hold that for a second. Relax that bottom leg a little bit. Feel that hamstring stretch. Stabilize with your hands. Square your shoulders and hips. Breathe. As you exhale, bring your right knee towards your nose, lean forward and kick that right foot as far forward as you can and settle the left knee down. As you inhale, arms come up. And as you exhale, let your weight settle into your hips, opening this hip flexor, but still lifting through your belly, still reaching down through your tail. 3 flows with the arms. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, cactus arms. Elbows and hands reach back, arch the body, arms downwards. Repeat, big circle. Inhale, coming up and overhead. Open heart, elbows reach back through cactus and down towards the floor. Last one, inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Now sweep your hands to the blocks or the floor, whatever you're using. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee. Now can you take a really, really large step to forward fold? As you inhale, lift halfway. Lift your gaze to look forward. Exhale, melt down, forward fold. Weight in the toes. Inhale, coming up with the arms, standing salute, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, coming right back down, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Look forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back, and gently lower the knee. Only one breath up this time. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming right back down. Plant the hands, lift the back knee, step to plank. Inhale, look forward, lean forward. Exhale, lower half or all the way down. Inhale into cobra or maybe up dog this time. Open the heart. Exhale, find your way back to downward facing dog. You can bring your hands back up on your blocks for this next part. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee to nose. Step that foot as far forward as you can and settle the right knee. One breath to come up. Inhale, extend. Exhale, cactus arms dragging down. Plant the hands, lift the knee. Big step to forward fold. You guys are doing great. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, salute the arms up overhead, big extension. Exhale, repeat, coming down, fold. Inhale, lift halfway, look forward, soften the knees. Exhale, step the right foot back, lower the knee. Inhale, taking flight, leveling the hips. Exhale, plant the hands, step to plank. Use an entire inhale to lean forward like you're looking over the edge of a cliff. Exhale, look forward, lower half or all the way down. Inhale, low cobra or up dog, open heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg leads. Inhale, right leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, right leg steps, left knee lowers, low lunge. Inhale, taking flight. Exhale, cactus arms draw down, plant the hands, lift the knee, big step forward to forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, salute up. Exhale, fold again. Final round. Inhale, lift halfway, look forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back and lower the knee. Inhale, arms taking flight. Level the hips. Exhale, cactus arms drag down. Untuck the toes, lift the knee, step to plank. Inhale, look forward, lean forward over the edge of a cliff. Exhale, lower half or all the way down. Flow through your arched body on the inhale. Make your way to down dog on the exhale. As you inhale, lift that left leg high, 3-legged dog. Hold for a moment. Relax that bottom leg. Feel the nice stretch here. Exhale, left knee to nose. Step the foot, lower the knee. Inhale, take flight. Exhale, cactus arms. Plant the hands, lift the knee. Step 2, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, salute the arms up. Exhale, palms to heart center, hands down to the sides. Congratulations, you guys. You did it. You made it through 4 rounds of our modified sun sal. And if it's hot in your room, like it is in my room, you might be starting to glisten just a little bit. Okay, so I want to start with a little bit of hips and splits, and then we're gonna get into our back bends. So if you have a knee pad or a blanket and you know that your kneecaps are sensitive, then I highly recommend having a little something extra so that you don't feel so distracted by that discomfort, yeah? Okay, so we're going to start standing at the back third of our mat, and if there is a blanket or a knee pad in front of you, it's gonna be right in front of your big toes. Now, this next movement that we're gonna do is an optional transition. This is a little bit more challenging. So what you could do is bring your hands down and practice moving through your ankles and knees, keeping them parallel in alignment until you can very gently lay them down, okay? And then the next option is going to be to use your quad strength. So you can bring your hands forward. You can go up onto your toes. Now, try to keep your hips flat. Let your knees bend forward as you start to lean backwards. And I want you to see if you can adjust your balance. So if you feel like you're starting to fall, hips under the head to stabilize, yeah? How gently can you bring your knees down to the mat without impact, yeah? Inhale, arms come up. Now as you exhale, bring all your weight into your left shin. Push into the top of your left foot and see if your right leg can step forward, okay? Now, I'm gonna scoot back a little bit for the camera here. So I want you to start with this 90 degrees. So before we were in kind of a sunken low lunge, and now we're kind of lifted up out of it. My weight is over my knee. Tuck your pelvis, scoop the belly button in, make sure your hips are at the same level. Your right hand is gonna go to your right thigh. Pull your belly button towards your spine, tuck your tailbone underneath. Now inhale. This left arm's gonna come up from the side towards our ear. We're gonna look towards it and we're gonna arc away. So you can't see too well, but I'm arcing to the right. And I'm trying to feel the stretch here in my psoas in the front of my hip. So when we're doing our monkey pose, this is helping us with the flexibility of our back leg. And I'm really pushing into the top of that back foot. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale, arms come up. Now balance on that left shin again. See if you can travel your right foot forward a couple inches and set the heel down. Now use your inner thighs and your core to level. Can you take your arms from up overhead, soften your right knee a little bit, and come down? Now, depending on your flexibility, if you have blocks, they might be helpful to have under your hands here. Okay, if you don't, fingertips with a bent knee maybe, or using a couch or a stool or whatever you have. Now, I want you to think of your right leg plugging in to your hip. So think of pulling that leg a little bit closer towards you so that your inner thighs are kissing and this thigh is vertical, yeah? Now, start to move through your ankle a little bit. You'll feel how it changes the sensation in your hamstring. And this is really a time to come back to our intention of creating space in your muscles. In this case, really using the breath and using the mind to help relax the muscles. Deep breaths here. Try to keep your back as flat as you can. It's okay if you're rounded, but just keep in mind, we're just trying the best we can to flatten our back, to level our hips and our shoulders. Good. Now, next we're gonna come into a lizard pose. So bring your hands to the inside and forward towards your right foot. You can bend your right leg and you're gonna kind of heel toe I don't know if you can see my foot. I'm kind of heel toeing over until I get to the outside edge of my mat with my right foot. From here, I'm really gonna push my hips forward, trying to see how long, if you can see my legs, I'm trying to get my knees as far apart as possible. And then if this is enough of a stretch, press the hips forward and down, squeeze the right knee in towards the midline, and if you can, come all the way down to your forearms. If you want to take the full expression, you can lift the back knee. This is our lizard pose. It feels kind of nice to rock forward and backward sometimes. Just letting your hips open and loosen up. We're gonna take 3 more breaths here, wherever it is that you feel the best in this stretch, keeping in mind that we're really aiming to open up those hips because we're coming for splits. All right, let's start to come up. We're only gonna do 2 more stretches on this side. So place your left hand opposite of your right foot. If you need to scoot your right foot in, that's fine. Now I want you to engage and lift up this back foot. Hopefully your knee feels okay. If it doesn't, set the foot down. Now see if you can grab your left foot with your right hand by looking over your right shoulder, holding that left foot up, reaching back, seeing if you can take a grab. If you can't take a grab and you have a strap, you might be able to utilize the strap. Another good option is to simply just contract the hamstring and hold it here. 1 more breath. Beautiful. Okay, last stretch on this side is going to be our pigeon. So lift up your left knee so that you come into this plank, and I want you to just wiggle your right foot so that it can come under your body. Now push the floor away, hold this plank. Now practice kind of windshield wipering your shin. Swivel it towards your left elbow, towards the right wall. Now externally rotate with the toes crossing your midline as much as you can, and then pull the shin forward towards your wrists and set it down. That's the active flexibility that we can support. And then wiggle, 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 wiggle your toes back. You can keep the blanket underneath you. If you have a block, you can put it under your right glute for support. And find your pigeon. If this hurts your knees, you can let your hips shift off to the side and unhook the back knee. Otherwise, we try to have the hips facing level forward and down. Now, you can choose whether you want to drop the chest. If you want to flex your back a little bit more, you can lift your chest. Maybe, just maybe, you also practice lifting your back leg. The more that we strengthen our hamstring, it helps us open the front of the hip. And we're just trying to get the glutes open and down. We're going to take 3 more breaths here, wherever you want to hold it. Creating space in the body by creating space in the mind. We have 1 more breath here. Beautiful. Let's bring our hands down to the floor. Let's tuck our left toes and lift the knee. Step to plank. Inhale, look forward, lean forward. We're going to take an optional vinyasa here. Lower half or all the way. Option to drop the knees. Find your back bend or heart opener of choice. And exhale to down dog. As you inhale, come up onto your tippy toes. Look at your hands. Bend the knees, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, look forward. Exhale, down, forward fold. Inhale, split the arms up overhead, little back bend. Exhale, palms to heart center, hands lower to the side. We're gonna start our left side now. So if you moved your blanket or your knee pad off to the side, bring it back. we're gonna do that little quadricep challenge. So once again, if you want to just bring your hands to the ground and guide yourself down. What's up, people? I'm gonna wave back at you. If you want to try the quad challenge, then remember, this is the one where we don't use our hands to lower down onto our knees. And we do this by balancing with our arms, coming onto the balls of our feet. The heels are slightly lifted. And then as you start to bend down, you're gonna get to a point where you start to lean backwards and really take your time. Feel those quads burn as you lower down. Untuck your toes, come to a kneeling position. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come out in front. All the weight comes onto the right shin and foot. See if you can balance enough to step that left leg out. Once again, instead of pressing forward into the hips, we're gonna stay at a nice 90 degrees here. Engage the lower abdominals and tuck the pelvis, and then give a little bit of forward pressure. Left hand to left thigh. Right arm sweeps out, up, and arcs over. Push your right hip towards the wall in front of you as you reach your tailbone down, and allow your side bend to go as deeply as your body will comfortably allow. The bicep is parallel with the ear. We can look up towards the right elbow, and we're stretching our psoas, the front of this hip I have furthest from camera. We're gonna take 2 more full breaths here. Just breathe, open it up, give pressure, more pressure if you don't feel it. Good, inhale, arms come up overhead. All the weight's on the right knee and shin. See if you can balance enough to kick that left foot forward a few more inches. We're coming for half monkey. Use blocks or books or chairs if you need to. We're bringing the hands down to the ground. Now, once again, it's okay to bend the knee and be on fingertips if you don't have props, but I want you to think of plugging this left hip into the socket by pulling that left foot back a little bit. Kiss your thighs together. Make sure that this back knee is vertical, the back thigh. And move through your ankle. We're warming up this hamstring. Our focus today is to get all stretched for our monkey pose, which is our yoga splits, as well as our back bends. I'm gonna give an option for wheels. So all the flexibility stuff, keeping these muscles long and lean. Let's take 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Okay, next we're coming into lizard pose. So the hands walk forward to the inside of the left foot. We're gonna bend that knee and bring that foot to the outside. Now, I want the knees to be as far apart as they can because I'm trying to open my hips, yeah? So instead of retracting the hips back, if you can, push them forward. Now, arms under shoulders, squeeze your left knee, hug it in towards your midline, hips push down. If you can, drop the elbows, maybe even lifting the knee, coming into our full expression. I like to rock forward and backwards when I do this. It just adds a little bit of extra movement in the hip joint. And just make sure you're breathing. Experiencing the benefits of these lengthening postures. They might be quite activating and challenging. Breathe out the mouth if you're feeling too warm. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here in our lizard pose. And then gently lower the back knee down if it was lifted and come back to straight arms. Step your right arm out close to the outer edge of your mat so that your leg and arm are supporting you. Bring your left hand to your knee. If your knee feels safe, see if you can engage that back hamstring and lift the heel towards sit bone. If this hurts your knee, drop the foot back down. Maybe you're able to twist in your spine and look towards that back foot. Maybe, just maybe, you're able to reach back and grab. If you're not able to reach back and grab, then continue to hold the leg lifted or grab a handy dandy strap or belt loop and use it to hook the foot. Really feel that right hip opening forward and down. We'll take a few more deep breaths right here. Just opening up the hips. Maybe shifting in your neck. Oh, my neck just popped way too many times. Very good. All right, be gentle. Avoid the slingshot effect with that back leg. Bring your hands back to the inside of the foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and we're gonna just wiggle this foot down until we can find our way into a plank with the left knee hovering above the floor. Windshield wiper the leg towards the right and towards the left, working on our active flexibility. Bring that left heel forward as much as you can do with your muscles, and then bring the knee and shin closer to the wrists and set the front leg down. Keep the back knee lifted and wiggle, 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 wiggle. All the way back into your full expression of pigeon. Make adjustments as needed. If you have a block and this is super intense on your glutes right now, you can bring it underneath the booty at whatever height, or a book under the booty, maybe a pillow. Your choice where this stretch feels the best for you. So sometimes it feels really good to bend your low back a little bit and to work on having your full body weight in your hips. Sometimes this is all we can tolerate. So we're gonna hold here for just a few breaths and settle into wherever you feel the best stretch. Now, once again, the same thing that we did with our lizard stretch, you can play with engaging that back hamstring. And this just helps to open up the front of that right hip a little bit more. Maybe bringing your chest up, just trying to get really engaged, really letting those hips come down. Let's take one more full breath here. Exhale, plant the hands, come to plank. Look forward, lean forward. Optional vinyasa, option to skip it and take a child's pose, or maybe a downward facing dog. Good. Pedal your feet out. Now, as you inhale, lift your right leg up high, three-legged dog. Bring your hands on blocks if you need it. We're gonna step this right foot forward and lower the back knee down. Now, if you have blocks or books, they can be very, very helpful for what's about to come. So we're going to go for our monkey pose on the right, now that we've stretched both sides. So monkey pose is splits, but this is half monkey, right? Or half split. So if this is where you're at with a bent knee, that's a-okay, that's totally fine. This is an all levels class. Take it as you need it. However, if you feel capable of going a little deeper and a little deeper, you can tuck the back toes under. You can wiggle the front leg forward and try really, really hard to keep the hips facing straight forward. So we're trying to stay nice and square, but you can find your monkey pose. And with our monkey pose, sometimes we can even untuck or tuck under the back toes and lift up that back knee to get a little bit deeper. But I'm sure that you're feeling it no matter where you are. This stretch is plenty deep on its own. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. So good. Push down, lift up with your hips, and slide that front leg all the way back. Let's take a super quick child's pose. You can sit on your heels, drop your head, mash your hips around just a little bit. So good. Okay, we're gonna come back through down dog. Lift the hips, drop the heels. As you inhale, lift that left leg up, three-legged dog. Now as you exhale, step that left foot forward and lower the right knee. Once again, if you have blocks, grab them. Coming into our half monkey first. Extending the front leg. Maybe the knee's bent, that's okay. As long as you're feeling a hamstring stretch, as long as you're being challenged with your flexibility, you can do no wrong. You may wish to have a knee pad underneath still if you're feeling sensitive, but maybe, just maybe, you decide to scoot your front foot forward a little bit more, and maybe you decide to tuck your back toes under and start moving that leg back. This side is a little bit less flexible for me, so let's see where we're at today. Slowly settle in. Now, regular monkey pose is intended to be done with our heart over our hips. So the more that the reason why blocks are so helpful is because you can put weight into your hands and experience the full benefit of the posture. So the more that you allow weight into your hips, the more that you can start to sink down. Once again, the hips are facing forward towards the front wall. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Good, let's track this left leg back. Quick child's pose is a checkpoint. You can take your blocks off to the side if you have them so they're out of the way. And forehead down to the floor. Let's just take 5 deep breaths in the nose, out the mouth, big cleansing breaths. 4 more times, inhale. Release. Inhale. Release. What tension is living in your body? Take 2 more at your own pace. Allow your body to soften and create space with your breath, with your mind, with your body. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale. Good. Let's start to come up to a hero's pose, sitting on our heels. Now, this next portion is going to be a bit of a cool down, but I am going to offer a more intermediate advanced back bend for those of you that have it in your practice. If your knees are sensitive, now would be a good time to grab your pad or your blanket to bring underneath. Find yourself in a tabletop. We're aiming for this vertical line, hips over knees. Keep your hips like a statue where they are, but walk your hands forward. We're coming into melted heart. Now, start to melt your heart towards the floor. Maybe your forehead's able to rest on the ground. And we're aiming to keep the booty high. So this is kind of a forward pelvic tilt going on, the tailbone's really reaching. Now, if you're pretty flexible, this may not feel like much to you. And so I suggest at that point, lifting the chin and allowing yourself to go a little bit deeper, trying to get your chest and your chin and your throat towards the floor. And this brings more of the curve into the thoracic spine, the upper back. Now, if you want to turn this into a puppy pose, we can lift the elbows and keep the ears by the biceps. So we're just making this a little bit more challenging, moving into the structural and strength integrity of the pose rather than just relaxing on the ground. Yeah, so you choose what feels best for your shoulders. We're going to take 3 more breaths. Focus on the area between your shoulder blades, melting towards the floor. Back off if it hurts too much. Good. Be very gentle on your shoulders. Walk back in. Good. Now do a couple scapula push-ups to kind of just reset. So let your chest start to melt towards the floor, but keep your elbows relatively straight and let your shoulder blades kiss together. Long neck, and then spread your shoulder blades as wide as you can and round in your upper back. Let's do this a couple more times, just at your own pace, kind of figure out the coordination of it. I remember when I first did these, they felt a little bit confusing if this is new for you. Good. Now we're gonna come down onto our belly. If you want to move this knee pad under your hip bones, if you're bony, then that can feel kind of nice. Feet hip distance, scoot your hands down so that they're in line with your lower ribs. And we're gonna warm up our upper back a little bit more strength-wise. Low cobra, inhale. Now lift up and see if you can perhaps hold without hands. Another more gentle alternative would be to find a Sphinx pose with your forearms supporting you. And if your hands are able to float, you can also extend them backwards. Using the strength in your back to lift up as high as you comfortably can. And let's come all the way back down. Bring your hands low towards your waist. Separate your feet as wide as your mat, maybe a little bit wider. And we're gonna go for a king cobra. So now, push, push, push. See if you can keep your pubic bone on the floor. Your elbows do not have to straighten, but they can if you're able. If you end up lifting a little bit up off the floor, that's okay. Try to roll your biceps forward, draw the shoulders back, and see if you can continue the curve into your upper back. Maybe reaching with your chin, extending through the base of the neck. Big, big curvature here. One more breath in. Bring it down nice and slow. Let's shift back. Remove any props from the center of your space and sweep your legs around. We're gonna come down onto our backs. So find yourself sitting, and if you wanna use your core with me, we can come down nice and slow. Maybe stopping halfway, coming back up. Just kidding, all the way down. All right. So once we're here, feet hip distance, okay? Bridge pose. Shoulders are down, shoulder blades are close together, palms by the hips. Grip into all 10 toes. Lift up through the arches of your feet, inner thighs active. Don't let your legs bow out to the sides, and walk your shoulder blades closer together. Good. Feel that your glutes are actually kind of relaxed, but your hamstrings are pulling your knees forward, yeah? So you can kind of play with this little rocker movement with your hamstrings so that you're not squeezing your booty as much as you can, but you're still supporting with the back side of your body. Now we can get a little wrist stretch here, preparing for a very optional wheel by bringing our fingertips towards the shoulders and pressing the palms down. Okay, we're gonna give an opportunity for this one more time. So if you don't feel ready yet, then please, by all means, just hold the bridge. However, if you're like, yeah, I feel pretty strong, I feel warm, I feel ready, then we can push through the hands, maybe find this checkpoint with the head down on the ground. Notice my knees are still squeezing in, and maybe you're able to push up with the heart, finding your wheel pose or your upward bow, and then push through the legs and shift the shoulders more over the wrists, maybe working towards straight legs if that feels possible. And then whenever you decide you want to come down, we reverse out the same way we came, tapping our head, and then tucking our chin, passing through bridge. Lift up your heels and then try to roll down from bridge to your back, 1 inch at a time. Oh my gosh, I wish I could see you guys. I bet you guys are doing amazing right now. I wish I could see. Okay, same thing, one more time. Feet hip distance, bridge pose. If you need to twist, or you need to stretch, or you need to wiggle and shake it out, do whatever you gotta do to go again. So find your bridge, palms down, hips up. Hamstrings are pulling the knees forward. We walk those shoulder blades closer together. Maybe you just hold here. If you want to use the strap, we can loop it around our thighs if you feel like those legs are really bowing out. If you're ready to take our wheel, bring your fingertips towards your shoulders, elbows in. Checkpoint 1 pushes from shoulders to crown of the head. And from here, we power up our arms to give a big push. Open the heart, shift the weight forward, wheel. Depending on how strong you feel in this pose, for my more advanced yogis, walk a little closer. If you feel pretty strong here, you can play with grabbing with one arm, grabbing with the other arm, and also our one-legged options, like so. Reverse your way out. Come all the way down. And give yourself a solid pat on the back or the shoulder. You guys are doing so amazing. We are ready to really cool it down, to really slow it down. If you would like to grab a drink of water, now would be a really good time. I'm gonna grab one real quick. Don't worry, I don't have corona. I promise, it's just allergies. Mucus invades my soul. Just kidding. So once you've grabbed your drink of water or used your towel or whatever it might be, find yourself down on your back once again. And we're going to find a reclined pigeon. So right leg over left, the knee is turned out to the side, the foot and ankle are flexed. Arms wide in a T, windshield wiper. Right foot comes over, taps the floor to the left. Right knee comes over, taps the floor to the right. Find a gentle and fluid movement from right to left, creating a little bit of space in your lower back. If your low back is feeling a little bit aggravated from that wheel pose, if you tried to go for it, or if you did go for it, now we're just giving a little bit of nurture. We're recognizing how hard our body works for us and sharing love and gratitude with it with some very gentle massaging and kind opening movements. Good. Pause in a neutral spine when you're ready, and let's grab the shin or the thigh and pull the leg near. Trying to keep that right leg turned out. Open the hip. Try to arch your lower back a little bit if you can, and try to pull those shoulders towards the ground. Maybe releasing breath out the mouth. One more breath. Lower the foot, other side. Left leg, reclined pigeon, arms in a T. Take your left foot over towards the right side of your back. See if your foot can tap the floor, and then take it the opposite direction. Go as slow or as fast as feels good to you. You can even turn your head in opposite directions. Loosen up your neck a little bit. Good, let's come to a neutral position in the center. Lift up that right leg. Grip the back of the thigh or the shin. If you're feeling really tight with this stretch, maybe keeping it on the floor is plenty. Try to keep the shoulders down. And see if you can arch that low back just a little bit. So instead of rounding, we're kind of extending through the lumbar. Really feel that left hip open, maybe releasing breath out the mouth again. Good, let's lower down. Now take a moment of free stretch here if you want to go a little bit deeper into some low back spinal twists, or maybe you want to hit your Happy Baby, one of my personal faves. This always feels amazing. Or maybe even something we didn't really touch on today, such as a plow pose. Make choices that are safe for your body. We're preparing for final Shavasana. When you're ready, we can settle into our corpse pose, which is what Shavasana means. Arms out to the sides, maybe legs wide. Find whatever position best suits you. Take a moment to let your limbs completely release into the floor. Check in with your facial expression and release any furrow in your brow or any clench in your jaw. Release the weight of your head into the mat and soften in your chest and shoulders. We'll enjoy a few minutes in silence now. Just breathing. Creating space. Start to gently bring movement back into your body. Maybe subtly touching the fingers to your thumb. Maybe spreading your toes. Please take your time to reawaken, to absorb peaceful feeling. If you'd like to find a fetal position on one side, fun fact, laying on your left side stimulates bowel movements.